Well, Mr. Hiranandani has been at forefront with lot of developments coming in and around Mumbai and other significant cities of India. This has helped the real estate sector to bloom into a better and a bigger industry. Well, here's a special conversation with the man himself. It's a pleasure to talk to you, Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani.
My pleasure too. Thank you.
Well, talking about luxury market, the market is booming, and especially if we see in Mumbai, there are various developers like Godrej, Oberoi, Prestige, Ranwal, Vadhva coming up with various townships in the city. Also, Godrej has been recently coming up with a township project in Thane. So tell me, what is this trend with setting up luxury townships, especially in areas like Navi Mumbai and Thane?
Well, you have to understand very clearly that the GDP of India is growing. It's more than 7%, which is probably the best in the world. India and Mumbai is no different. Yes, we had a lot of tsunamis last year. Demonetization, RERA, all these aspects of it really affected the industry generally and other things. But today that has changed. People have got back to the position wherein they have found the new equilibrium. People have wealth in terms of wanting to buy a house, wanting to own something which is prestigious, wanting to own something which is luxurious, wanting to own something which is perennial. You know, you don't buy a house every day, you don't get a thing to stay which you can say, this is my own. And if you want a premium product, then obviously you want to go to the best.
Right. Well, we are here at ground zero at Hiranandani One Park, and that's some spectacular view, and it's in Thane, which is one of the most hotspot residential spot backed up by many infrastructural developments. So take us through the highlights of pricing and the fact that there's no GST since the OC is already received.
See, you have to understand first that location is extremely important. The location is extremely prestigious, and a location is something where you're going to spend the rest of your life almost. So the issue is very clear. Is Thane the location? The answer is yes. We just have a 14-lane road coming to our project site. We have a metro which is coming right at the doorstep. We have a waterway which will connect right up to Gateway of India, right on the other side of the project. All this transportation which is taking place makes it reachable to every part of it. There's also a tunnel likely to go on the hill underneath the other side to go to Borivali, but that's not finalized yet. But looking at the infrastructure, the best location you can possibly have. If you're looking at it from a development perspective of accessibility, you can probably reach faster to Nariman Point from here than you would go from Nariman Point to Juhu. So the time taken for travel time in terms of the eastern side is much more easier and faster. So location wise, reachable wise, or otherwise in terms of it, there was nothing which was lacking as far as this location is concerned. On the other hand, what do we give to the table? And that is extremely important. We give the townships. The townships have it all. Whether you want a school, whether you want a hospital, whether you want gardens, whether you want children play areas, whether you want elderlies, you want games, you want facilities. We have the best walking street probably in India, if not this part of the world. Something which is extremely outstanding. So we just give it the very best. The best so that people who come here to live here, or to meet people, or to enjoy the facilities, really enjoy it terrifically.
Right. Could you also give us a few highlights in terms of pricing, keeping in mind the land prices have been quite high in the areas of Maharashtra, including that of Bombay and Navi Mumbai?
See, an average pricing which takes place in One Hiranandani Park is around 12,000 plus. So, but it gives you the amenities which are second to none. We have right from 2 bedrooms to 3 bedrooms to luxurious 4 bedrooms with huge verandas overlooking a 20-acre garden. It's an impossible dream. So on one side you see the hills, and on the other side you see a 20-acre garden which is under development. When it's completed, the views between the two will be the most outstanding that you can imagine. The added facility is the fact that we have an occupation certificate, and hence you don't pay any GST. So that's a plus point. So you save 12% of GST if you buy a house now from One Hiranandani Park from us. So all this put together makes it a great deal for people who want the best, the very best, and nothing but the best. So when you want that all luxury at an affordable price range, you have to come here. That's why it's one of the best that we have ever developed in my career. So I feel very proud of it.
Right. Well, you know, government has also been backing up the idea of sports townships, and it has been doing this in various cities, including that of Mumbai and Chennai. But I also understand that these townships come up with a certain kind of architecture and design. So what has been the persistent strategy behind it?
Well, design, just like you wear different type of clothes or you wear different type of, the buildings are of different type of architecture. I like to call my architecture by a name called perennial, that it will last forever. So if you come and see any of our buildings, maybe 10 years, 20 years hence, they look as brand new. And you feel proud that these buildings are still looking new. So if you go to any building in Powai or in Thane or in One Hiranandani Park, these are what we call perennially designed buildings. There are, of course, certain architectural ideas behind it, but the idea is basically to make it comfortable and make it such that it is always soothing to the eye. Facilities, of course, a lot of people provide, but all our facilities are outstanding and complete. So if you have a school, it's the best school. If you have a hospital, it's the best hospital. If it's the clubhouse, it's the best clubhouse. You have a walking street, which is the best in the world. So all these things put together in one location is certainly a great deal that we offer to the clients.
Right. Mumbai and Chennai have been two township hotspots all these years. Down the line, do we see any other city where Hiranandani is going to probably will be entering with setting up townships? Is this also because of the land availability? Is that an issue?
Well, just to share with you, we haven't put it across before, but let me tell you, we're going to add 5 large townships as big as Powai and Thane. We are putting one in Panvel. We are going to do a resort township in Alibag, an outstanding one, and now with the Ro-Ro connectivity, it will be very accessible to South Bombay. We are going to do one in Khandala. We are going to do one in Pune. And we are also, of course, as you mentioned it, doing in Chennai also. So all these townships are all starting and almost started, some of them on the way, some of them being designed, some of them being designed by the best master planners in the world. So we're making 5 outstanding townships now.
Right. You just mentioned that you're coming up with one in Panvel also, and Navi Mumbai is booming. Well, with all the kind of developments happening, be it the Trans-Harbour link or the Navi Mumbai airport, which is on cards, and as Prime Minister said, he hopes the phase 1 sets off this year. Besides that, there's the Panvel-Kajrat metro train coming up and connecting CST to that of Navi Mumbai through a fast local. So I understand these are all the major developments coming up, but don't you think that this is a slow pace of development happening and things could get much better?
Well, yes, it is always slow. When you want something which is very beautiful, it always appears to take a lot of time. So these things are such beautiful projects and very large ones too. Navi Mumbai airport would be a replication of and bigger than the Santa Cruz Saha airports, and it's coming up and it's expected to start by 2020.
Right.
The Cross Harbour Bridge is going to be completed in 2021. So all this in the next 4 or 5 years will provide connectivity which will bring Panvel within 45 minutes of South Mumbai. Which today is probably less time than you can reach anywhere, including Parel from South Mumbai. Right. So if you look at the timeline for the purposes of creation of the Panvel area, I think it's a perfectly well-timed position where you can do it. And our developments will obviously take a premier position to take advantage not only of the infrastructure, but to create new townships, to create iconic centers which will make people live happily and be able to get the best facilities in the world inside the complexes. That's our objective.
Well, what are the kind of projects that you are forward looking for Navi Mumbai to come up with? We understand that there are various developers who have been moving on to areas of maybe Ulve, which covers beyond the airport. Are there any major pockets that you see will probably get populated?
See, if you look at iconic centers and you look at South Mumbai, you have a Malabar Hill, you have a Kambala Hill, you have a Cup Parade. Then you move down to Bandra, then you look at Juhu, you look at Chembur, you look at Kandivali and stuff like that. Similarly, when you will look at the project sites which we are developing, whether in Alibag across the harbour at Nagaon or in Panvel where we are developing our township, you will find that these centers will become extraordinarily similar to the iconic centers which exist in South Mumbai. So, like, people are very proud of saying, I stay in Malabar Hill or I stay in Juhu near Amitabh Bachchan's house. Similar to that, you would find that over a period of time, people talk the same thing about One Hiranandani Park and estate, and similarly they will talk about Panvel. So each one of the centers that we develop are going to be iconic centers second to none, which will make people enjoy the amenities, the facilities, the iconic creations, and also the quality of life which is second to none.
Right.
So let's say, for instance, when we start Panvel and we give the buildings for occupation by the end of this year, we'll already have a nursery school within the building complexes.
Right.
So that no child has to go out of the complex in order to do it. The other facilities will come up slowly and phase-wise, but the essential ones will come up immediately. That's the type of thought process we have for the end client and our customer.
Well, the industry has seen a lot in past 2 years, which started off with demonetization to RERA to GST and now the ordinance. In fact, next month we complete 1 year of GST. Last month we've completed 1 year of RERA. How have the sentiments been with the developers and the sector as a whole?
See, I'll tell you, change is mandated.
Right.
Change is an essential part of life and industry and business in the world.
Right.
If we don't cope up with change, we will die.
Right.
The Fiat and Ambassador car used to be the only cars made in India,
Right.
but they died. Now, unless you did change and incorporate new ideas, new projects and other things, you will not survive.
Right.
But if you adopt to change, the growth is humongous.
Right.
So the real estate as an industry growth is still to see its heydays. It's still to see the growth that has taken place, similarly to what has happened in China. So you're going to see the growth happen in India, which is going to be faster than the last 10 years.
Right.
The next 10 years will be at least 5 times faster. But the question is, are we ready to cope up and create new iconic townships which will give all the facilities which are expected by the consumer? That is important. Not the fact that change has happened. How do you adapt to change? How do you create new facilities which the customers are happy with? Today, you've changed from a landline phone to a mobile. Today, you do everything through the mobile. How do you adapt to that change? Very easily. So unless we don't adapt to the new changes which are taking place, even in the housing sector, you will not be able to satisfy the customer. The customer wants a small, compact, 1-bedroom flat. He also wants a luxurious 4 and 5-bedroom flat.
Right.
These are the two extremes of customers which we get. We have to look after both these segments. So while we will look at the weaker section and affordable housing on one end of the spectrum, we will also have the other end of the spectrum, which is the luxurious 4 and 5 bedroom. So we do the entire range of activity to satisfy every citizen of India, and we welcome them.
Keeping in mind the consumer sentiments and what analysts have been talking, people in Mumbai at least are preferring to occupy compact houses in the city rather than setting off buying a 3 BHK or a 4 BHK in a far off place from the city due to traffic congestion. Is that something to be bothered about?
Not at all. we have people who come over here and want to buy the 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom and even 5-bedroom. And they sometimes ask us, can we combine 2 4-bedroom flats in order to make one of them? So we have people who have the wherewithal to enjoy larger flats, and many times people want 2-bedroom flats, so they have their child having a separate flat, and each one of them has a 3-bedroom flat. So don't be surprised that the segment is in fact growing tremendously. As people have more incomes, they do want to enjoy their wealth also. India has definitely become richer. You'll see more people in the malls, you'll see more people buying, you see more cars and vehicles on the roads. Everybody is being affordable to do it. And with the availability of loans which are there today at rates which are 9% and less, I think affordability has actually grown.
Right, but I think something to be bothered about is GST. With coming time, we have noticed that it's 18% GST on under construction, and that has led to a lot of unsold inventory for developers. And for the consumer side, if you notice, the developer, as per new RERA rules, has to shell out his own finance rather than borrowing it from some other place. Is that something majorly to be bothered about?
Well, RERA and GST is definitely created a lot of change. So we understand that the cost of GST, which is 12% for buying the house, 18% for the construction contract, has definitely been a problem. Hence, when we get buildings ready, like the ones which we have here in One Hiranandani Park, you pay 0 GST because you have already got the occupation certificate. Similarly, the fund requirement for construction has definitely grown. Right. So the finance needed to make the same building has grown higher, so the availability, which is causing a consolidation in the real estate market. So people who have got bad cash flows will sell the projects to people who have cash flows which are available, and which is happening. Right. The consolidation is taking place. Having said that, the market will only grow because the people will rely now more on the builder because of RERA. Right. They can pay GST if they want the installments to take place, or they can wait for OC and buy it after they take. Both the facilities are being used tremendously by our people because both have their plus wins that take place.
Right. Well, also talking about FSI, the new Mumbai redevelopment plan also talks about the increase in FSI for residential and commercial. Is that something that you are keenly looking onto, because that brings you more opportunities and space in the city?
No, I don't think so. We are not really looking at higher FSI of the city as to look forward to. We are more looking at the outskirts of the city. We are looking more at outskirts of Mumbai. Right. And we think that it's not only FSI that is important, but the quality of life and development and infrastructure and transport and communication. So we will not go only hungry for FSI. We are more hungry to create quality of life. And that happens in all our projects, irrespective of what the FSI. And many times we sacrifice FSI in order to see that the quality of the buildings, the quality of the structures and artistic edges is beautiful.
Right. Now, the term affordable has a very different interpretation in Mumbai when compared to what it is seen in different cities. And with Housing for All being a major initiative going on, and the affordable housing stigma that has been running among developers, keeping in mind the land prices and the GST being so high, the tax quotient being so high, how well is this strategy going?
See, it's very clear. The Prime Minister is clear. We are also clear in industry. The affordable housing segment talks about 30 square meters and 60 square meters carpet area. Right. Which for the majority of population is excellent. So there is no problem. And that's the mass of people who have not got a house today. So 50% of Mumbai people living in Jhopatpattis. If they get 60 square meters carpet area, they'll be more than happy. Right. So the focus of the government to bring and give institutional credit at a affordable rate by reducing the interest rates and also creating higher loan capability of these people who buy affordable housing, which is 30 square meters in Mumbai and Delhi, and the rest of India 60 square meters, like in Thane it will be 60 square meters. Giving all that facility will give housing to lots of people. Right. The industry will only grow. It will grow faster than growth of cars and other things, because that is the real need of the people. And we haven't been able to give it in the last 60, 70 years. It's our aspiration that in the next 10 years, the Prime Minister talks about 7 years, that we should meet this aspiration and complete it. We are all working towards that aspiration, that class of people should be given priority. There is no question of not giving it. And that is why the benefits of finance, the benefit of taxation is more oriented to them. It's not that people who buy bigger flats do not get the benefits, but those get more benefits, that's all.
Right. Could you also pick few pockets where the affordable housing segment will be taking place in Maharashtra, in Mumbai or Navi Mumbai?
I think in the periphery of all towns of Mumbai and cities you will see it. So periphery of Mumbai, periphery of Pune, periphery of name the city, and outside the periphery, Nasik, all the peripheral areas of cities will definitely see affordable housing. Within the cities, land becomes obnoxiously expensive. That is where the intervention of government is required in order to see that the land prices are controlled or cross-subsidized and then given. So that's the attempt of the government to give affordable housing within cities. But otherwise, in the peripheral areas, private developers will also do it, and they are already into it.
Right. Well, are we seeing any kind of green shoots back into the industry from a developer point of view? Do you think have we surpassed all the kind of problems and difficulties that the sector has faced with this increasing land prices? How has the demand and supply scenario been?
Let me explain to you. On the commercial side, we have done 14 times more business in the last 2 years than we have done in the last 20 years.
Right.
So you have to understand that there is growth as far as the real estate business is concerned.
Right.
As far as the residential, last year was a setback with all the complications. This year we have seen a growth of almost 15 to 20%. We expect that this will grow to maybe 25 to 30% per annum compounded. But if you look at the additional projects that we do, our total growth this year will be 100% growth, in the sense that there are new projects which will be added to the fold. So we don't see a lack of growth in the industry. Those who are not ready to embrace change, for them, death knell. They will go under and probably sink. But those who embrace change and are willing to move under the new circumstances will succeed very, very well. And I have no doubt that we will meet the aspirations of the people of India.
Right. Well, down the line, what are few projects that we should be looking forward to from Hiranandani?
Well, you are in one of the projects, One Hiranandani Park, Hiranandani Estates. Now we are going to do beautiful commercial buildings. We have got IT buildings. We have the Tata Consultancy Services largest project in Thane. We have the buyer corporate office. So commercial side, we expect to grow in Thane. Residential, we start with compact, small, 1 bedroom to luxurious 5 bedroom. Same we are going to do in Panvel.
Right.
In Alibag, we want to do a project with 5 hotels to start with, a jetty, water sports. We hope you will come and join us there.
Sure.
And then we move towards Chennai. There we are doing plotting schemes, we are doing sports complexes, we are creating educational campuses, we are creating multi-storied buildings, we are giving the whole lot. And then we move to Pune, where we are at Hinjewadi, and then we are working on an industrial and logistics park in Pune. So lots and lots of projects coming up. You'll enjoy each one of them.
That's a huge down the line portfolio, I must say. Yeah. But talking about the recent RBI announcement where in the IBC ordinance it was cleared that the buyers and the consumers now gain the status of being financial creditors. Is this something that the industry is worried about? I understand that it's beneficial on the consumer side of view that they are given rights as that of COC, but on the builder's point of view, is that something to be looked into?
No. Builders are very happy that the consumer got the preference. It was necessary when VERA came in and the insolvency law was brought in. We did have a worry that what would happen to the buyers. That has been by intervention of the Supreme Court, and now this amendment of the ordinance, I think that is taken care of. So in fact, we were worried about the insolvency code, and now that is rectified. So I think we are very happy that the buyer is now on a sound footing.
Right. One last question. Do we see IPO coming up for Hiranandani development?
Well, at the moment, I don't need that money for the IPO.
Right.
So we are not going for an IPO just now.
Right.
But the future is not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. I don't know tomorrow.
Right.
At this point of time, not for the next 1 year or so. But I don't know tomorrow. The change may require me to go to IPO, and I will. But
Well,
not at the moment.
hoping that things get on path and we see more such projects and developments in and around the city. It was lovely talking to you, Mr. Hiranandani.
Thank you. Thank you for your good wishes.
Thank you.
Thank you.